Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Behind the Scenes with Ryan Wickham. I am, again, Ryan Wickham, the author of Outlaw Principles. Last we spoke in the inaugural episode, I stated that I was just one sale away from selling it out on Amazon, not for the first time, not for the second time, but for the third time. I'm very, very proud to announce that I have in fact achieved that goal. And I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for purchasing a copy of Outlaw Principles. I do appreciate your support in my mission to prove to the world that regardless of your situation of destitute, you too can achieve anything you want in this lifetime. Now, for those of you who might have missed the first episode, essentially a quick recap here. My career as an author wasn't really born out of normal circumstances, to say the least. I became an author to inspire the world with an epic comeback story after being rendered disabled with severe hand and arm injuries back on September 29, 2011. I received those injuries and that disability as a result of the fact that I had night terror as somebody who suffers from somebody with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, a night terror is essentially a very violent dream. In my night terrors, I see women and children running everywhere for help as these bad guys are chasing after them to maim them or kill them. Came out swinging, went through a window. I survived against all odds. I bled out for just a little over an hour and a half, I believe it was, with a severe aortic bleed, which is where the blood doesn't just run out of you, it projectiles out of you. Anyway, having to adapt to being disabled was not an easy transition at all. And I slipped into depression and became actually suicidal. Planned my suicide the day I went to commission my suicide. Saw my mother and my sister, the two people for whom I lived that night, and realized this was unfair to them. I couldn't commit suicide, and not only did I have to get back up for myself and for my family, I had to get back up for the rest of the world and send a really epic message to let them know that, again, regardless of your circumstances, you too can achieve anything. And mental illness is something that can be dealt with. But the biggest way I thought I could do that would be to write a book. I mean, hey, the guy with, pretty much useless hands writing a book, how poetic and ironic is that, right? So that's how I became an author. Now, here's the thing. If I want to send this message out there that you too are capable of achieving anything you want, regardless of your situation of destitute, writing a book is great, but I run the risk of only sending that message to avid readers, right? Because avid readers are the ones that buy the books. Now, in order to sort of counter that problem, what I did was I wrote the book in such a way that would appeal to both avid and non-avid readers alike. And what I'm hearing is from all the non-avid readers who have purchased Outlaw Principles is that they love it because it's short and it's concise. Like their confidence builds with each chapter, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, it goes by so quick. And so that and the fact that each chapter is very explosive. I don't wait forever and a day to get to the damn storyline. Like it pops off immediately. So there's no, long-winded waiting where you're bored as hell trying to get to the point. So that's a really successful selling feature for myself and for the book Outlaw Principles. And I think that's really one of the reasons why it's selling so well is because it appeals to such a wide range of people. I can promise you this, you will never be bored reading anything that I write. That's a promise I can definitely guarantee you. Now, on today's episode, what I'd like to feature in on sort of moving forward here with the talk of mental illness, very encouraged, very inspired, and very touched by the fact that Bell Media, CTV, is taking the time. Clara Hughes, former Olympic athlete, she won 4 winter medals, 4 medals in the Winter Olympics and 2 in the summer. She's a cyclist and a speed skater, and she'll be hosting this event, or one of the hosts in this event. And it's basically, like I said, it's Bell Let's Talk. It's January 28th with Clara Hughes. And it features basically the discussion of ending the stigma with mental illness, discussing the issues that surround that. And Clara, praise to you, right? I mean, great on you, great on CTV, great on Bell for understanding that this is a significant subject. This is really, really, really important. As we speak, there are so many out there, not only in the country of Canada, but worldwide, who are suffering with severe mental health issues, and they're so stigmatized that they don't want to go out and get the help because they fear the wrath of the judgment, right? And certainly, when I went public with mine, with the fact that I have severe PTSD, that I have these night terrors, that I was in a suicidal depression and got to the point where I was actually going to do it, and right down to the day and how it would be done and so on and so forth. I mean, it took courage to step out, that's for sure. And I'm encouraged to see how many people have been reaching back out to me. And so I'm just one person. So you go on this national news network now, CTV, and people are talking about this. I think that's just, phenomenal. And having that public awareness and that public knowledge is just phenomenal. So good for Bell, good for CTV, and good for Clara Hughes and everybody else that's involved in this project. Another interesting thing that she's working on that's actually coming together on March the 14th, 2014. She's going on I believe it's called Clara's Big Ride. It involves a 12,000 kilometer trip, 110 days and 95 community stops. So that's really going to open up the door for education, discussion on mental health issues, and hopefully inspire people who are suffering in silence to get help, and for one and all suffering to really feel vindicated, to know that they're not alone. In fact, you know what? Let's go one step further and just end this issue of mental health. That even that term is kind of works to stigmatize. I think because if I break my hand or I've got some sort of health issue or a cold or whatever, I don't say I have a physical health issue. I say I have a health issue, right? And so good health is both physical and mental. So it's not really, can't really separate the two, right? They're really one and the same. So to one and all suffering with mental illnesses, to one and all who are in the lives of somebody suffering with a mental illness, I strongly encourage you to tune in on January the 28th and on CTV and hear what's being said and educate yourself and feel that awareness sort of comforting you, I hope. Again, good on you guys for doing that. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I also want to tell you about, I believe it's on February the 1st. I am having the author of APOC, Michael Walton. He will be joining me on Behind the Scenes with Ryan Wickham. Really excited about this. I really look up to this guy. He's becoming a dear friend of mine. He's a tremendous person, and he's one hell of an author. If you haven't got his book yet, I strongly suggest you do so because it is selling out at a record pace as well. And I enjoy, I'm really excited about having him on the show to discuss this, whatever it is we're going to be discussing that day. You'll have to, stay tuned to find out. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of Behind the Scenes with Ryan Wickham. Again, this is a weekly show. I will be tuning in. I will be posting these episodes at least once a week, perhaps more as we get going. The next episode will discuss, or the ongoing episodes will further discuss in length. I'm going to go through each chapter of my book, one episode at a time and discuss what I was thinking when I wrote that. Please feel free to send me any of your questions. Follow me on Twitter. Check me out at ryanwickham.konline.ca. That's www.ryanwickham.konline.ca. Follow me on my Facebook fan page at Ryan-Wickham-author. That's Wickham, and follow me on Twitter. Don't hesitate to interact with me. I want this to be a very interactive experience. As you can see, this is not a fancy studio. That's done by design because I want to feel as personal and as much in your living room with you as possible, right? So again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Behind the Scenes with Ryan Wickham, and please feel free to join me for the next episode. See you then.